Welcome back, philosophers. We're in part 3 of our 10-part journey through the wild, provocative world of Friedrich Nietzsche. Today, we're diving into one of his most central ideas, the will to power. It's a phrase that sounds intense, maybe even a bit intimidating, but don't worry, we're going to unpack it in a way that's clear, relatable, and maybe even inspiring. This is Nietzsche at his most dynamic. So let's jump in. First off, the will to power. What is it? If you're picturing a tyrant stomping around, bossing everyone, you're not alone. That's how it's often misunderstood. But Nietzsche's idea, laid out in books like Beyond Good and Evil, and his notes in The Will to Power, is far richer. He's not talking about bullying or brute force. The will to power is the drive deep inside all living things to grow, create and become more than they are. It's about striving, overcoming obstacles, and shaping the world in your own way. Think of an artist pouring their soul into a painting, an athlete pushing past their limits, or even you chasing a dream despite the odds. That's the will to power in action. Nietzsche believed this drive is what makes life tick. It's not just about survival, like Darwin might say. It's about thriving, expressing your unique spark. For Nietzsche, every act of creativity, every moment of saying, I am here and I'm going to make something of this, is the will to power at work. It's why he thought people who just follow the crowd, what he called the herd, were missing out. They're not tapping into that raw, vital energy to become who they could be. Now, let's make this real. Think about your own life. Maybe there's a moment you pushed through fear to do something bold, starting a new project, standing up for what you believe, or even reinventing yourself after a setback. That's the will to power. It's not always loud or showy. Sometimes it's quiet, like the courage to keep going when life feels heavy. Nietzsche's saying, that's the stuff of life. Embrace it. Don't shrink from it. But here's where Nietzsche gets spicy. He thought a lot of society's rules, especially traditional morality, tamp down this drive. He saw things like rigid religious codes or social pressures to fit in as ways of making people smaller, less vibrant. In Beyond Good and Evil, he argues that morality, especially what he called slave morality, often celebrates meekness or conformity over strength and creativity. The will to power, for him, is about breaking free from that. Not to dominate others, but to master yourself, to create a life that's truly yours. This isn't about being selfish or cruel. Nietzsche's been misread here, especially when people twisted his ideas to justify ugly things like oppression. He wasn't about that. He despised petty power grabs and mob mentality. The will to power is personal. It's about you becoming your best, most authentic self, not stepping on others to get there. Think of it like a tree growing toward the sun, not trampling the forest to do it. Why does this matter today? We're in a world that pulls us in a million directions. Social media, work, expectations to look or act a certain way. It's easy to feel like you're just going through the motions, living someone else's script. Nietzsche's will to power is a wake-up call. Don't just drift. Create. Strive. Ask yourself, what's my passion? What's my mark? It's not about being perfect. It's about being alive. This idea ties into so much of Nietzsche's thought. It's the engine behind his vision of the Übermensch, the person who creates their own values. And it's why he was so obsessed with overcoming nihilism, the fear that nothing matters. We'll get to those in later episodes, but for now, the will to power is Nietzsche's way of saying life is yours to shape. Don't waste it. Thanks for joining me today. Next time, we'll explore Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, the ultimate expression of this creative drive. Until then, keep pushing, keep creating, and I'll catch you in the next episode.